अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चतुर्मुखमुखाम्बोज वनहंसवधूर्मम मानसे रमतां नित्यं सर्वशुक्ला सरस्वती। धर्मप्रोत्सितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तक्षणात्। असारे संसारे विषयविषसङ्गातकुलधियः क्षणार्धं चेमार्तं पिबत शुकगाथा अतुलसुधाम्। किमर्थं व्यर्थं भोः व्रजतु कुपते कुत्सितपते परीक्षित्साक्षी यत्श्रवणगतमुक्त्युक्तिकथने। पीताम्बरं करविराजितशङ्खचक्रं कौमोदगीसरसिजं करुणासमुद्रम् राधासहायमतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशमनिशं हृदि भावयामि। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। With countless salutations at the lotus feet of Swamiji and all the sannyasis present here and the devotees, I start my brief presentation on the illuminating dialogue between Rahugana, king, and Jadabharata. This episode occurs in the 5th skanda of Srimad Bhagavata, chapters 7 to 13. By way of introduction, it may be stated that there is a righteous king by name Bharata, whose name attaches to our land according to Srimad Bhagavata. Ajanabham nama etat varsham Bharatam iti yata arabhya vyapatishanti. Earlier, this land was known as Ajanabha, and in recognition of the righteous rule of this king, the name became Bharata. He was a greatly devoted disciple and bhakta of God and engaged relentlessly in his service. And after a length of service, he handed over the reins of administration to his children and retired to the ashrama of Pulaha in search of his own self. One day when he was after his daily routine, meditating on Omkara, sitting on the banks of Gandaki river, a fully pregnant female doe came to drink water there. And while it was half through in drinking, there was a roar of a lion, and it became frightened and wanted to save itself and also the baby within, and he crossed over by jumping across the river. What happened was, when it jumped out of fear, the fetus fell into the river and the doe fell into a cave and died. So the fetus, helpless and hapless that it was being carried by the current of the river. Tam tu yena gunagam kripanam srodasa anuhyamanam kripanam Srotasa anuhyamanam apaviddam banduriva anukampaya rajarishir bharataha mrutam mataramidi uttva swashramam anayat. He took it, saying that it is a motherless baby, haplessly being carried by the current of the river, and took it to his ashrama and started paying attention. Slowly his devotion to God became less and less. And ultimately he thought that his world was only this fawn that he was bringing up. And in due course of time, his last hour of stay on this earth came, but he did not know that, and he died thinking about the deer. Bhagavad Gita says that at the end of one's life, what he thinks he becomes, provided he practices that throughout. Yam yam vabi smaran bhavam tejatyande kalevaram tandamai vedika unteya sada sadbhava bhavitaha. So what happened? He took birth as a deer. But then he realized, because of the Purva Anusmriti, that he was a person who was on the point of getting into Brahmajnana, but slipped from the yoga, became a yoga brashta. But again, thought about Lord, he had the Purva Smarana, as we find in the case of Ajamila and or Gajendra, and waited for discharging his mortal coil. And the moment that happened, he was born in a family of Vedic scholars. Again, Bhagavad Gita supports this by saying, Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bijayate Athava Yoginam Eva Kule Bhavati Sampadam Edadhi Durlabhadaram Loge Janma Yadidrisham Tatratam Buddhisam Yogam Labade Paurvadehikam. And what he does? Yatadecha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. And because of the Purva Abhyasa, though he does not want, he will be dragged into the worship of God and he will progress as a pilgrim towards liberation. This is mentioned in the Dhyana Yoga, 6th chapter of Gita. So he knew that this is the time for him that he should not miss the bus again, and he engaged himself in an activity which will make him take forward. But he did not want any company of people. If somebody says, don't come near me, they may take it as an offense. But if you become dirty and untouchable yourself, then people will not come. So that is a trick he adopted. Vyasa says, Unmatta jada anda badira swarupena darshayamasa lokasya. He was not like that, but he put up a show as if he was unmatta, mad, jada, a person who will not understand anything, anda, blind, badira, deaf, darshayamasa lokasya. So he did not want people to come to him, but without saying so, he put on a show so that people will not come. We are reminded of what Sureshwara Acharya says, that a realized man will be looked upon by people as mad, blind and deaf, but he will know that people are mad, blind and deaf. Buddha tattvasya lokoyam jada unmatta pishachavat Buddha tattvopi lokasya jada unmatta pishachavat. Jada, unmatta and pishacha are common. For people, a realized soul looks like that, but a realized soul knows they are like that. This is what Sureshwara says. So this is the trick adopted by Bharata. That's why he was known as Jada Bharata. Not he was really a dull-witted person. He put up that show so that he did not want any sangha with people. As in Bhajagovinda, Shankara says, Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmala tattvam. Nirmala tattve, finally you get into the state of Jivan Mukti. So he wanted to distance himself from the people by a behavior that he projected as if he was mad, blind and deaf. Or in other words, we can say he had no deha abhimana at all. And this is the problem with people who think that soul and body are non-different. Or when they say I, they mean the body. Vyasa describes Bharata as Mahamanihi iva anabhivyakta brahmavarchasaha. Anabhivyakta. A gem which has not been polished, will look very dull, but the moment you polish it, you know the brilliance of that. So he was like that. Guda Tejaha, or fire which is covered with the ash. So he was moving about in this way without having any Deha Abhimana. And it happened that King Rahugana of the Sindhu Vedas was going to seek knowledge from his guru Kapila. And when the king was travelling on a palanquin, they were looking for a man to relieve one of those palanquin bearers, and they came upon Bharata, who was moving about, fat, well-built, young, and a person who is fit to carry any weight. So the mantri who was accompanying the king thought, this is the right man who will carry weight like a bull or an ass. And he caught hold of him and asked him to carry the palanquin. And Bharata, having no abhimana of his body, whatever anybody is asked, he will do. And he will go on doing till they say stop. If you give food, he will go on eating until you say stop. You give him a work, he will go on doing it till you say stop. Because he never bothered about the world. His thoughts were riveted on Lord. Atma Rama or Atmarati or Atmar Krida, as Mundaka Upanishad describes. So he was caught hold of and made one of the palanquin bearers. But the problem with this gentleman was that he will not walk as others will walk, because he will see whether there is any insect there on the earth, and he will put his foot 2 feet or 3 feet this side, that side and all that. So he was not walking in tune with the others, and the palanquin began to move in an odd fashion. So the king was disturbed, and he asked why the palanquin is not moving in an orderly or uniform fashion. Then those who were bearing the palanquin said, we are doing our work properly, the man who has newly come is the problem. Then he gave an instruction, ask him to do properly. And I don't want any disturbance, I want to travel without any movement, which is uneven in the palanquin. But Bharata was not bothered about that. He did the same way, and the palanquin moved, and there was an injury on the head of the king because the uneven movement. The king got annoyed, naturally, thinking he is a king and others are servants. So he made a sarcastic remark and he said, you are very tired, you are bearing the palanquin all alone without any help, you have walked a long way, you are not fat, your limbs are weak, and you are troubled by old age. All these are not statements which are true in the sense he joined the group only just now, he was young, strong, fat, all that. But the king made a remark in a satire, making fun of him or mocking at him. He did not answer because all these statements are made to the body and I am not the body. He continued to carry the palanquin in the same way. The same way means in the same uneven way, and again the king became very annoyed. Why did he do that in spite of provocative statements by the king? Vyasa explains, avidyaya vihida drevya gunakarmashaya swacharama kalevare avastuni samsthana visheshe aham mamedi anadhyarobhita mitya pratyayah brahmabhudaha tushnim shibikam purvavat uvaha. Avidyaya vihida. The body is, if a person thinks, I am that, it is a result of avidya. Avidya, ajnana, andhakara, maya, all that are synonyms in Advaita Vedanta. When it is posited in the individual soul, we call it avidya. When it is there with God, we call it maya. According to Advaita Vedanta, Brahman, God and Jiva, these are the 3 levels in which Brahman is Shuddha. There is no contact with Maya. Brahman plus Maya becomes Ishvara. Brahman plus Maya plus product of Maya, mind becomes Jiva. This is the arrangement in Advaita. So Jiva suffers from Maya in the sense, Jiva is under control of Maya, whereas Ishvara has Maya under his control. Ishvara knows I am Brahman at all times, therefore he has no birth and no death. Ishvara controls Maya, therefore Maya cannot play with him. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Mayam tu prakritim vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Prakriti is known as Maya, and Mayi, the person who possesses Maya or controls Maya, is Ishvara. So Ishvara is always aware that I am Brahman and Maya is under control. For Jiva, he is never aware that he is Brahman and he is under control of Maya. This is the way in which the whole thing goes. So Ishvara is Brahman minus or plus Maya, and Jiva is Maya plus mind. This mind is the one that creates what is called Viparita Jnana, I or mine, Aham Bhava and Mama Bhava. So he knew that this is Avidyaya Vihita Dravya Guna Karmashaya Swacharamagalevare. This was the last birth that Jadabharata has taken. He knew it. Avastunu. Vastu means truth. Avastuni, which is not true. Samsthana Visheshe Aham Mama Iti Anadhyaropita Mityapatyayaha. He never had the feeling I or mine, and therefore Brahma Buddha, he has become one with Brahman, Tushnim, without responding to the taunts of the king, Shibigam Purvavad Uvaha. As the same way in which he was doing, he continued to do. After some time again, this uneven movement or gait of the palanquin further angered the king, and he made stronger words. He said, you are dead while alive, Jivan Mrtaha. You are also transgressing the command of your master. I am the king, and you are the servant. And you are haughty and arrogant. And therefore, I shall treat you in such a manner they will understand your real position and my position as king. Now Bharata thought that it is time to reply. As you find in the Bhagavad Gita also, though Bhagavad Gita is said to be 18 chapters, it is really only 17 chapters. Because the first chapter is not Bhagavad Gita, it is Arjuna Gita. Arjuna goes on and telling this and that, Lord listens completely. And time is enough for hearing, so in the second chapter, 11th sloka, the Gita starts, Ashuchyan Anyashochastvam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase. It starts like that and ends with Ma Shuchaha Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tva Sarvabhabebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. So it starts with Ashochyan and ends with Shuchaha. That's why commentators never wrote commentary on the first chapter, because it was not worth commenting. It was all avidya vilasa of Arjuna. In one line they disposed of by saying Arjuna has prattled. That's all. Bhagavad Gita starts with 11th sloka of second chapter, Ashochyan Anyashochastvam. So like that he kept on allowing the ignorance of the king to be brought out, but then time is enough, so he said, I will say something. And Vyasa introduces a very beautiful word here, Smayamana Iva, as if he was smiling. When you say as if, it means it is not real, and it is something revealing the ignorance of Rahugana, the king. Again we recall when Lord starts the dissertation on the Bhagavad Gita as in the second chapter, 10th sloka, Sankhya Yoga, Tamuvacha Hrishikeshaha Prahasan Niva Bharata. Prahasan Niva. And again in the Ramayana you find when Ravana makes all sorts of entreaties to Sita. Sita says, Trinam Antarata Kritva Pratyivacha Shuchismita. Not smiling, but derisively, that you fellow, you have no idea of what you are talking. So these are the certain words which are significant to show the contempt on the part of the speech made with the other person and also exposing the reality. So smayamana iva. This is how Bharata starts his answers. Now the king said, you are tired. Bharata said, yes. The king said, you have travelled a long way. He said, yes. King said, you are not fat. He said, yes. King said, you are not strong in your limbs. Bharata said, yes. He said, you are troubled by old age, though he was a young man. Bharata said, yes. Then king said, you are dead while alive. King said, yes. Now why did he say yes, yes, yes? Because the answer is, all these relate to body and not to the soul. So Bharata says, Staulyam karshyam vyadhaya adayascha shutrit bhayam kaliricha jaraja nidraradihi manyuraham madashucho dehena jadasya himena santi. All these things you call me now as fat, old, tired, a man who has travelled too long, carried the palanquin all alone without help and all that, 100% true. You have talked truth. Because all these relate to the body. I am not the body. All these are there for whom? Dehena jatasya. For those people who think I means body. That is dehatma bhava. For them what you say is correct. For me, nahi me santi. They are not there. And you said that I am dead while alive. That is also true. Because for people who think body is they, the death becomes theirs. Jivan mrudatvam niyamena rajanne adyandavadyat vigridasya drishtam. For a person who is born, there is birth, and once there is birth, there is death also. So jivan mritaha, a person who lives, who dies, and all's correct when it relates to a person who has that. Because if a person is born, he has to die. But I am not born because I am not this body, and I am that soul. This is why in the Bhagavad Gita again we find Tattva Vittu Mahabaho Guna Karma Vibhagayoho Gunaha Guneshu Vartante Iti Matva Na Sajjate. Guna has got two meanings. One meaning of guna is sense organ. Other meaning of guna is sense object. Any sense organ dwells on the sense object. Eye sees an object. Ear hears a sound, tongue tastes a substance. So this is called guna, substance. This is called guna, the means of knowing the jnanendriya. So a person who thinks that body is not he knows gunaha guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. He is not moved because he knows it is the tendency of the sense organs to go to the sense object. I have nothing to do with that. This is the stage of Jivan Mukta, which is explained in Karma Yoga, 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Suppose somebody says, I hear music because I am not deaf. I am able to smell a beautiful fragrance because my nose is doing it. I have nothing to do with that. I am in the stage. So all these gunas are related to the body, and the soul is nirguna. I have nothing. So you said that I am dead while alive. It is true. If I had a birth, then I will have a death. I am neither born nor dead. And again you said about master and servant. You said you are king and I am the Bhritya. It is true, because you are depending on things which are not permanent and talking like that. What we find in Prahlada also, Hiranyakashipu asks him a question, Aditeshu sreshtam kimiti pariprishte tatanaye. In the Narayaniya you find that question. He asked, which is the one that is the best among what you have learned? And the bold boy, Prahlada says, Tat sadhu manye asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhiyam asadgrahat. Tat sadhu manye asuravarya dehinam I consider that as most important among what I have learned is you should hold on to something which is permanent and not something impermanent. And people suffer because they catch hold of something which is temporary or fleeting. So what you should do, hitvatma patam griham andakupam vanam gado yat harimashrayeta. The only word that you can hold on firmly is the Lord, and once you have got that, all other things become useless. So this is the state of Bharata, who has held on to what is permanent or what is Satya. The word Satya means Nitya. Satyatva is on par with Nityatva. So once a man knows that, then all other things that you speak about is all Anitya. So he said about the king and the Bhritya. Saswamya abhavo dhruva idya yatra tarhyuchyate asau vidikritya yogaha. That a person is a master, a person is a servant, is all created by an empirical arrangement in this world, which we call as Vyavahara Satya. When you go to the Paramartha Satya, there is nothing of this kind that is existing. A master-servant relation is only when both are existing. Today the master can become a servant, tomorrow he can become a master. It's all interchangeable, nothing is permanent. And then you say that you are the king, and you say that I am the palanquin bearer. Both are true if you look at it from the point of anityatva. But when you think it is nitya, then you know all these things fold into nothing. Whatever is not steady, Vivekis don't hold on to that. They hold on to think what is steady because they want to become steady. Suppose I want to be steady, I should have something to support me which is itself steady. If I am sitting on a seat which is moving, I can't expect to be steady. So it's a very simple logic which perhaps you have not understood. That's why Bharata starts by saying, you are talking all sorts of things as if you are a Vidwan. But you are not really a realized person because all your arguments are based on Sharira Abhimana and not on the permanent fixture known as soul. And you said that you will treat me with a punishment so that you can correct me. This is also meaningless because I am already treated. The body is already treated because taking birth itself is a punishment, and therefore nothing more is there for you. Pishta Peshana. If you have already prepared a duff, go on doing that. There is no point in making it further better. It will only keep matters worse. You consider I am a madman, you consider I am a moron, then treatment will not do anything for me. So in your view, I am a jada, and a jada can never be made better by punishment. Having said all this, in a brief way, the quintessence of philosophy, Bharata started to carry the palanquin, keeping quiet. But the king was worried about this. The answer he gave was not normal answer. If you find fault with somebody in the world, what is a normal response? He will explain that or he will justify that. But here is a man who accepts what you say, but still differs by an argument which is far superior to what normal man can see. So the king thought there must be something serious about what I said, and this man is not an ordinary man. So he hurriedly jumped out of the palanquin and fell at the feet of this man. And he said, who are you? Are you Dattatreya? Or are you Sanat Kumara? Or are you the person whom I am seeking for knowledge, the Kapila Muni? Because I am not afraid of the thunderbolt of Indra. I am not afraid of the trident of Lord Shiva. I am not afraid of the arrows of sun, moon, wind. But I am afraid of insulting a knowledgeable person or a jnani. Naham vishanke suraraja vajrat nathakshashulan nayamasya dandat agnyarka somanila vittapastrat shankhe brisham brahmakula vimanat. I am afraid, scared of insulting a person who is a jnani. I am not afraid of any of those people, including Lord Shiva or Yama. I don't know who you are. So I think I have done a great act of mischief. So I want to be instructed on the jnana. But still I have got some doubts. I would like to ask for clarification, and you should be pleased to clarify those. You said that the body is different from the soul, and whatever happens to the body, you are not bothered because you think body is not you. Indirectly means that whatever happens in the world is not true, because everything is related to body in this world. But I think world is true, because there are things here and things do interact with each other. So there must be body and there must be action, and therefore world should be true. Now the answer given by Varada is, yes, it is true till you rise above the Maya. You know, in the Vedanta there are three levels of the Paramartha Satta, the Vyavahara Satta, and also the Pratibhasika Satta. Paramartha Satta is what is really real, and Vyavahara Satta is what appears to be real, which requires, of course, Brahmajnana to dispel the darkness. And the Pratibhasika Satya is what you can see by analysis. The standing example for Pratibhasika Satya is the rope and the snake theory, where by ordinary light or scrutiny you can know it is not snake. But the Vyavahara Satya is little more difficult, in the sense world is Vyavahara Satya. It is true in the sense, for those who are in the realm of Maya it is true, but those who have got above the Maya, transcended the Maya, the Trigunas, for them it is not true. So if you ask a question whether the world is true, answer is yes. Really it is true, answer is no. Then what is the answer? It cannot be defined. Anirvachaniya. Because those who are within the Maya, it is true. Those who are above the Maya, it is not true. It is something like flying in the airplane 40,000, 50,000 feet above the ground level. For them, there is no cloud. For those who are below, there is cloud. So it is something like transcending, something, a barrier which blocks the knowledge. So above Maya, transcending Maya, those who have gone beyond the gunas, what they call as guna atita, or they call as jivan mukta, or they call as Vishnu bhakta, or sthita prajna. All these words are used for getting over this state of Maya. So for Vyavahara Satta it is correct, but absolute truth it is not. So world is not real in the sense, one simple test, it changes every second. And anything that changes will get destroyed in due course of time. If not today, at least at the end of the eon, when the great waters of the floods come. That's why in the Ishavasya Upanishad, the starting itself is Jagatyam Jagat. It is not a permanent feature. So what you say is not therefore correct. That's why the realized souls see nothing, whereas ignorant people see everything. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagradi bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. It's a very beautiful sloka in the Bhagavad Gita. Sankhya Yoga again. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam. For all beings, what is darkness? Tasyam jagarti samyami. Samyama is the Ashtanga Yoga, the last one. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. If all the three are together, it is taken as samyama. Samyak asamandad yamaha yasya samyama. So a person who is a samyami, for him, what others see, he does not see. But what he sees, others don't see. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. First line is easy, second line is little difficult. What a realized soul sees, others don't see, yes, we can understand, because he sees himself within, antarmukha, which others cannot. That's very clear. Second line, what all people see, he can't see. Now this is the problem. When an ordinary man can see, and if a jnani cannot see, then what sort of jnani is he? Now the answer is, there is nothing to see, therefore he does not see. This is the point. If there is something only you can see, there is nothing. This man imagines, or it is something which is not existing, which he thinks because of his ajnana. A man bereft of ajnana cannot see. That's not the answer. Does not see, that's not the answer. Nothing is there to see. So like that, mithya pratyaya, which is not there, is considered to be there, and I am not, therefore, the person who sees the world is there in vyavahara stage, not in paramartya stage. So your question that world is true is not correct. That's why in the Gaudapada Karika of Mandukya Upanishads, Gaudapada, you know, is the grand preceptor of Shankara. Shankara's preceptor was Govindapada, his preceptor was Gaudapada. He wrote commentary on the very small Upanishad known as Mandukya Upanishad, only 12 mantras, but he wrote 240 and odd Karikas on that. In one of the Karikas he writes, the power of Maya. Anadi Mayaya Suptaha Yada Jiva Prabudyate Ajam Anidram Aswapnam Advaidam Buddhyate Tada. When can a person realize Advaita? The word Advaita, non-duality, meaning Na vidyade dvaidam yasmin brahmani. One only and one without a second. This is the meaning of Advaita. Suppose you say no two, then it's confusing. For us it is not two, many. Whatever you see is individual. Then how do you say there is only one? So this jnana, that na vidyate dvaidam yasmin brahmani tad advaidam, how do you get it? When you get rid of Maya and when you get out of sleep. And this sleep is not of yesterday's or today's origin. It is there anadi mayaya suptaha yada jivaha prabudyate. Then what happens? Ajam anidram aswapnam advaitam buddhyate tada. Buddhyate, realization. He gets the bodha or realization. When anadi maya is overcome by him, by whatever means, it can be manana, or it is shravana, or nididhyasana, or guru upasana, or his diksha, or God's grace, any of these methods, what yoga you follow, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, whatever. Now at that stage when he transcends that maya, then he knows that there is only one thing. That's why bahunam janmanamante jnanaman mam prabhadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha, not durlabha, sudurlabha. And that also bahunam janmanamante. And how many of these people there? Manishyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatadisiddhaye yatadama visiddhanam kaschit mam veti tattvataha. Like that, a person, one in perhaps a trillion and trillion, he is able to realize that it's not an easy way. That's why the anadi mayaya suptaha yada jiva prabudyate, then he realizes that ajam, one without birth, anidram, consciousness, and aswapnam, the man is not in the state of swapna. Then he realizes. So that is the meaning of satya. Traikalika abadhyatvam. Satya means a thing that exists in all divisions of time, the past, present and future. If it starts showing any sign of deterioration, it is no more satya, because by time and place it will get destroyed. The world is described as avicharita ramaniya. Avicharita ramaniya. Vicharita ramaniya is different. Avicharita ramaniya. If a person does not scrutinize and think it is great, then it is called avicharita ramaniya. If a person scrutinizes and comes to the real state, then it is called vicharita ramaniya. That's why Vedanta is said to be vichara. Vichara is going on cut chewing. Have an item with you and go on thinking. You call it manana or nididhyasana, deeper. So go on thinking about that, then only sometimes with grace of God or Guru, it strikes you. So in Vedanta they say, how do you get that information or knowledge or experience? You have got two types of sleep. Till that you should go on doing vichara. One sleep is the temporary sleep, everybody we get in the night or sometimes in daytime, and other sleep is the permanent sleep. So till you get this sleep or that sleep, go on thinking and vichara of Vedanta. Asuptehe amritehe kalam neyam Vedanta chintaya. Then only there is a possibility of getting something about that. So if it is a vicharita ramaniya, that is, you come to the conclusion it is beautiful because of thought, it is true. Avicharita ramaniya is imaginary or assumptions or presumptions. So the world is true only because of avicharita ramaniya. There is a very beautiful sloka in Advaita Rasamanjari, which is the book giving the quintessence of Advaita Vedanta. There is a hall like this where thousands of people are sitting. A girl of 19 years is doing Bharatanatyam, and the girl is actually epitome of all the beauty described in Samudrika Shastra. And therefore her vilasas or graceful actions are so attractive and compelling and arresting a man's mind. About 1,000 people are sitting in the hall and the girl is dancing. 999 people are riveted in seeing that, including old people. But one young man, 25-year-old, sitting in the front bench, is having his head like that and feeling when this will be over. Very interesting scene. 999 people are absorbed. One man, young man, is wanting to see when it is over. What is the secret? This one man knows this is not a girl, but a boy dressed as a girl. This is the difference. All others think this is a girl. And this boy is actually, the man who is sitting there, young man, is the neighbor of this boy who has brought him here. And he is worried that he should take her back safely to the house. This is his worry. Because he knows. World has got wonders and wonders. People go to moon, people go to Mars and all that. Wonderful. But what have they achieved? As Shankara says you can see Shiva's world, you can see Vishnu's world, you can rule over Brahma's world. Tatakim, tatakim, tatakim. What is the use of that unless you have realized yourself? The sloka runs like this: Prapanchikastu vibhavaha paramadbhutopi dhiram naranjayati drishtatadiya tattvam strivesha bhushitatanuhu purusho vilasaihi tajñam yuvanamabhi ranjayitum hinalam. Tajñam, tadi janati iti tajñaha. A person who knows that though he is a youth, he is not moved by the beauty of this girl because he knows he is not a girl but a boy. Like that, a person who knows the inner secret of the world is not worried about whatever appears outside. Prapanchikastu, prapanche bhavam prapanchikam. Paramadbhutopi, though it is wonderful and spectacular. Dhiram naranjayati. Who is dhira? Ajayamano bahuta vijayate tasya dhira parijananti yonim. That is dhira. Not a person who has got physical might or courage in fighting. He is a veera. Dhi relates to buddhi. That's why we say satyam param dhimahi. A person who knows that what is the reality in this world, he is not worried about the outer form. Mundaka Upanishad says, the entire world is divided by two things, name and form. In fact, neither is existing. After a period, both will be lost and they will lose themselves and sublate themselves to substratum, that is the Brahman. And the comparison is given as various rivers that flows eastwards and westwards. Rivers which are quiet and turbulent. Ultimately, they become none for identification when they join the sea. You can give a name to a river till it joins the sea. Thereafter, you don't know which river is in which place. Because this is Nama, Rupa, Upadhi. If it is destroyed, what remains is only the inner core, which is called the Brahman. Yata nadyas chandamana samudre astam gacchandi namarupe vihaya tada vidwan namarupad vimuktaha paratparam purushamupaidi divyam. See Upanishads. Yata nadyaha sandamanaha samudre astam gacchandi namarupe vihaya tata vidwan namarupad vimuktaha paratparam purusham upaiti divyam. So at that stage only, when a person transcends this, he will know. Otherwise, Rahugana, you will think world is true. Really, world is not true. Second question is a very interesting question Rahugana raises. You have a vessel in which you have got water or milk. You put some grain there, rice or wheat or something, and apply heat below. In due course of time, the heat gets to the vessel, and vessel heat gets into the water or milk, and the material in the milk is cooked. Though there is no direct contact, the contact outside produces the effect in the contact and the material inside. Like that, when there is suffering to the body, it is also should have its effect on the soul. How do you say that soul is not affected? It's a very nice question. When the container is heated, the contained will be heated. Now container is the body, contained is the soul. So when the body is affected either by happiness or by sorrow, should not it have an effect on the soul also? But you are saying that I am not worried about that. What you are describing is all body, I am not the body. But should you not have the effect? It's a very nice question. Now you search Srimad Bhagavata, you don't find an answer there for that. Now does it mean that Bharata does not know the answer? No. Great people don't waste their time by answering stupid questions. You find that in Bhagavad Gita. Whole first chapter, Arjuna goes on wailing. And so logical it is when you think. If you read only first chapter of Gita, you think Lord was very wrong in asking Arjuna to fight. But there is one beautiful sloka which gives you the key why Lord asked Arjuna to fight. Yadrichaya chopapannam swargadwaramupavradam sukhina kshatriya partha labande yuddhamidrisham. Arjuna, you understand that this war was not of your choice. It was forced on you, and you are a Kshatriya. You have got to do your duty and Kshatriya dharma. Yadrichaya cha upapannam swargadwaram apavritam sukhinat Kshatriya partha labande yuddham idrisham. This is your duty. If you don't duty, what will happen? Pratyabhaya. You will get into trouble. You have got duty. Swadharmo nidanam sreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha Shreyan viguno swadharmaha paradharma swanushtita. There must be order in society. If everybody does his duty, it will take care of itself. This is also called dharma. This word dharma is not easy to translate. It has got various meanings. One meaning is order or law. And without law, what will happen? Utter chaos and confusion. So dharma is that. That's why Lord incarnates for dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, if you apply heat for the external thing, it will go into the material inside. This is what we find in the world. But regarding Atma, it is not true because you are comparing two incomparables. Whenever you make a comparison, it should be comparable. You cannot compare a man with a lion or something. You may say that in one aspect. The Purnopama will not be there. It will be a Lupta Upama. The grain that you are keeping inside the vessel, where you heat it with water or milk, is not comparable to Atma. Because what is the definition of Atma? It is neither born nor destroyed. Whatever you do, nothing affects it. But is that true in the case of grain? So you are giving a comparison which is not comparable, and therefore wise men don't waste time in discussing wrong things. So no answer was given by Bharata in that. We have to understand like this. Nainam chindandi shastrani, nainam dahdi pavakaha, na chainam kledayityabaha, na shoshayati marutaha. Achedhyahayam adahyoyam akledyoyam ashoshya evacha nityaha sarvagadastanuhu achaloyam sanatana. This is a description of Atman given in the Karma Yoga. Again, you find the same sloka repeated in the Gita from the Katha Upanishad. Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashwatoyam purana na hanyamane hanyamane sharire. Now, can you give this as an adjective or an explanation of a grain? So the question is stupid. There is no need to answer that. So he does not answer. Though, logically, it appears as if it is a very interesting question. That's why Bharata said that you are asking questions as if you are a learned person, but your learning is only very, very superficial. It's only a logic, but it is not the truth. Because logic can sometimes be dangerous. That's why Acharya says, Shankara says, Dustarkat suviramyatam. Do not enter into argument. Though he himself was a great logician, I don't think there is anybody who could have been a greater logician for Shankara Bhagavad-pada. But he does not believe in arguments unless it is in line with Shruti. Otherwise he won't take the argument. Shruti Siddha. Then only argument will be taken. Otherwise it can mislead you. You know, normally in logic students read this. Half door open is half door closed. Half door open is half door closed. Then you can extend the logic by saying full door open is full door closed. This is not correct. Or you can say men are mortals, monkeys are mortals, therefore men are monkeys. Some of them are, but men of monkeys. You can't say that. So this is not logic, this is syllogism. So like that, logic can lead you on a wrong path if you go like that. Where it is necessary you should take. You find Shankara takes that, the Nyaya Sutra. Gautama in the Nyaya Sutra says, what is the problem in life? He gives a series of answers, one below, and says, remove what is below, then automatically what is above will go, like a stack of stone you kept, bricks. Take one brick, second brick, third brick, finally the whole thing goes. Dukkha janma pravritti dosha mityajnananam uttarotarapaye tad anantarapayat apavargaha. This is a sutra. Gautama's Nyaya Sutra. Dukkha. In dukkha means birth and death. Not anything in the world. That is dukkha. In Vedanta, only one dukkha is there. Birth, death, the cycle or transmigration. This is dukkha. And what? The reason? Janma. If you don't want dukkha, what you should do? Don't take birth. So simple. Dukkha, janma. What is the cause of janma? Pravritti. Activity. And what is the reason for pravritti? Dosha. Raga, dvesha. What is that? Caused by what? Mithya jnana. Wrong knowledge. So if you remove mithya jnana, then there will be no likes and dislike. If no dislike and dislike, no activity. No activity, no janma. No janma, no dukkha. So dukkha, janma, pravritti, mithya jnananam, uttarotarapaye tad anantarapayat apavargaha. This is the rule. Nyaya Sutra. Shankara takes this, though it's a fine logic. In the Brahma Sutra Vyakhyana, he writes, Yatacha Acharya Pranidam. Acharya here refers to Gautama. Yatacha Acharya Pranidam Nyaya Upabrimhitam Sutram Dukkha Janma Pravritti Dosha Mithya Jnananam Uttarotarapaye Tadanantarapayaha Iti. He takes that there because it is necessary to explain the matter. Otherwise your logic can mislead you. So this logic of Rahugana, that if you apply heat on a vessel having water or milk in which you have put some grain, grain also will cook. Therefore, all your problems of body should have an effect on the soul is not a competent argument. Because it's not a comparable matter. Then he said that I am master and you are the servant. This is a very temporary thing. Because things can change with time and place. Who is master today can be servant tomorrow. And who is servant today can master. We see it in the world itself. Why go to philosophy? And these are all vrittis of the mind. 11 vrittis, he says. Ekadashanam manasohi vrittayaha akutayaha panchadiyo abhimanaha. There are 5 of the karma, 5 of the jnana, and 1 mind. These are the vrittis that create all this difference. You and I and all that. And as long as one does not realize that mind is the jiva upadhi, upadhi means that which contains, controls or surrounds, all dukkhas will be there because mind is the basis for that. So if you are able to understand that, then the viparita jnana of I or me will not be there. Na yavad eva atmana atmalingam samsara tapa vapanam janasya yet choga mohamaya ragalobaha vairanubandam mamadam vidathe. That's why in his scintillating commentary in the Brahma Sutras, Shankara says, Avagadad brahmatma bhavasya na yathapurvam samsaritvam yasya yathapurvam samsaritvam na asau avagada brahmatma bhavaha. It's a very beautiful line. Avagada brahma atma bhavasya na yathapurvam samsaritvam. A person will not engage in activity in this world as he did so far hitherto, the moment he attains his level of Brahmajnana. And if he continues to do what he was doing hitherto, he has not attained the Brahmajnana. It's actually repetition. Normally in Shastras they don't repeat, because it is a dosha known as punarukti. Once only they will say, the Shishya has to understand. They will not go on repeating. This is the rule. Otherwise the dosha, punarukti, again saying, redundance. But at the cost of that, Shankara repeats there. Avagada, understood. Avagada means understood. Brahma atma bhavaha, non-difference between Jiva and Brahma. For him, na yathapurvam samsaritvam. His activity in this world will not be same. The point when he rises to the level of Brahma Anubhava. If he has not, he continues the same way as he was hitherto, then very obvious that he has not attained that level. So the reason is this, that the mind which creates or projects this viparita jnana of I or mine is not gone, then he will remain to be in the same state. And Rahugana, you are in the same state when you say you are king and I am servant. All materials including you, me and the palanquin are made of Prithvi. So it is a very interesting statement that a Prithvi sitting on a Prithvi is finding fault with another Prithvi. So this is the answer. Everything in this world is vikara of Prithvi. Prithvi is the earth. The vikara of that. Yesterday we had discussions on that from the Chandogya Upanishad. Vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam mrittiketyeva satyam. Mrittika is mud or clay. Vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. It becomes a pot, it becomes a small lamp or whatever it is. But before, during and after, what it contains in an anusyuta material is only clay. So that vikara is by form and namadeya is by name. They gave examples yesterday of the gold becoming so many things. So finally the Prithvi Bhaga becomes all these things we see in the world, maybe new name and new form. So you are that, the palanquin in which you are sitting is that, and as a palanquin bearer I am that. What difference do you find? All this is Prithvi. And you said punishment will have an effect because it is your duty as a king to punish. Yes, punishment is for whom? It is for the body. Already I have told you that nothing to do with the body. Why punishment? Even disappearance of the body, wise people does not bother. Why is it? Ashochyan anvashochastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase gadasoon agatasoon shaiva na anishochanti pandita. So it makes no difference. Reason? vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grinnadi naro aparani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyadi navani dehi. So there's nothing more. And this is not mere theory, because we have seen people like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, Sadashiva Brahmendra, and many more saints and sages of this country, wonderful country, where they never bothered about their body. Yesterday we had Swamiji telling us about the Avadutas. That's why this country is also known as Bharata Varsha. One reason I gave you earlier, because the King Bharata. But if you see the commentary of Madhusudana Saraswati on Bhagavad Gita, the commentary is known as Gudhartha Deepika. Gudha Artha Deepika. It is a light to bring out the hidden meanings in Gita. There you find in the Gita any number of times the word Bharata, Bharata. He gives a meaning for that. Madhusudana Saraswati. He says, Bha Rupe Brahmani Ye Rataha Te Bharataha. That's the meaning. Not mere a landmass, as your constitution says, India, that is Bharat. No. Bha Rupe Brahmani Ye Satatam Rataha Te Bharataha. So in one word, if you want to have that meaning, Jnaninaha. Those people who have realized the essence of their existence, or the core or substance of their existence, that Brahman is that everything you see. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma. This is the land. That's why yesterday also Nathan was saying, you take one handful of sand and then squeeze it, you will find jnana flowing from that. This is that country. God did not take incarnation in America or Australia. He took it here only. Why? That is because this country. We should be proud of that heritage. We are all progeny of those great people. Unfortunately, we have missed it in somewhere in the middle. That's all. It's not difficult to regain that, so we should try to do. That's the purpose of these satras. Thus the message in the discussion or the samvada, very beautifully yesterday, Thirumanas was explaining to you what is the meaning of samvada, what is the meaning of jalpa, and what is the meaning of vidanda. Samvada, sattvic way of understanding, clarifying matters. So in this samvada we find the essence, central point of the argument there is Dehatma Buddhi is the danger. Considering Dehatma Buddhi as mithya and Atma Buddhi as real, after proper scrutiny, hearing, thinking and discussing, this is what one has to follow. And what is the way to strive so that you can discard the enveloping darkness? With Bhagavad Gita says, Ajnanena avridam jnanam. Therefore, tena muhyanti jandavaha. Mudha. Mudha is not as easily translated in English as fool. They translate as fool. No. Fool is much better than a mudha. Because fool does not do any problem, give any problem. Mudha gives problems. Mudha means muhdadu, muh, a person who is in delusion or thinking something different from what really it is. This is mudha. That's why Bhagavad Gita uses Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. You are completely disillusioned that the world is true. It is not. Understand that. Because samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukranya karane. Dukranya karane is an example that is a sutra in grammar. Whatever branch of knowledge you are mastering, well, it is good for you, for existence here. But that will not take you further anywhere. That is the meaning. Muha. Muha dadu. You are thinking something else of something else. So, finally, Rahugana is given the advice by Bharata. All these things, what I have told you, cannot be achieved by all these external penance and reading and understanding and all that. Go and seek refuge. The fifth Purushartha. Yesterday we had a very brilliant exposition on that. Sharanagati. And he says, Rahugane dat tapasanayati na chejjaya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasanaiva jalagni suryaihi vinamahad padarajo bhishekam. Very beautiful sloka. Very easy for us also to follow. and prosper in this life. Rahugana, he is calling Rahugana king, Rahuganeda tapasanayati na chejyaya. Yajya means sacrifice and all rituals. Na nirvapanat grihadva, going away from the house and sitting in solitude. Na chandasa, Upanishads, naiva jalagni suryaihi, by doing all rituals connected with water, sun or fire. Then vinamahad pada rajo abhishekam satsanga. Mahat pada raja abhisheka. Mahat pada. Great people fall at their feet, tadvidhi pranivadena pariprasthena sevaya upadekshantite jnanam jnanina tattvadarshanaha. And the same thing repeated in the Mundaka Upanishad, tadvijnanartam gurumevabhigacche samitpanihi sotriyam brahmanishtam. That word brahmanishtam is important. So this idea you find in both the Gita and also in the Upanishad. So this is how one has to understand the difference between body and the soul and not have the dehatma bhava or dehatma avidya. That is the central point in the message of Bharata Rahugana. And how to get that also, this is the beauty in the philosophy. Many people think our philosophy is pessimistic. They say the philosophy speaks about death, it speaks about again rebirth and all that, all miseries of life. It doesn't speak about anything happy. This is the argument of some people. Answer is no. It does not speak about that just to make you sorry or despondent. It tells you the truth. In the world, what is there? Only dukkha is there. Sukha is there once in a way, and it was very beautifully explained by Sharmaji the other day, scratching a little place where you got to itch. That is all. And after scratching, you get burning sensation also. And there is nothing sukha in this. Bhartrihari describes in a very beautiful sloka in Vairagya Shataka. All things in this world are having underlying fear. Nothing is free from fear. Bhoge rogabayam kule chutibayam vitte nripalad bhayam mane dainya bayam gune khalabayam rupe jaraya bhayam shastre vadibayam bale ripubayam dehe kritandad bhayam sarvam vastu bhayavaham bhuvindranam. Bhartrihari is terrifying us by saying everything in this world is full of fear. Bhoge roga bhayam. I am giving only one example as upalakshana. Suppose I like sweets and go on eating sweets. After some time, doctor will say, don't take sugar in coffee also, because my quota of sugar is over. All of us come into this world with a wonderful ration card, ladies and gentlemen, not given by this government, but given by God. Only 3 columns are there. Column 1 solid, column 1 fluid, column 3 oxygen. Finished. You exhaust one early, wait for other 2. That's why our vratas are prescribed, evenly distribute, so that at the end ration card is exhausted. So, bhoge, there are 5 senses, you understand that? I am telling only one, bhoge. Bhoge, roga bhayam, bhoga leads to roga. Kule, chuti bhayam. Suppose I am born in a wonderful noble family with a wonderful tradition. What is my fear? During my time, there will be no scandal about my family. I will not have peace of mind. Vitte nripalad bhayam. Nripala is king. Today substitute with income tax department. Vitte nripalad bhayam. Maune, if I am keeping quiet, then somebody may come and insult me. Gune khalabayam. If I am having gunas at Lord Sri Rama, then somebody will come and say, you do not know the good things in life. Why don't you come and have a drink with me? Then you know what is Swarga. So I am afraid of man like that. Rupe jaraya bayam. If a person is beautiful, handsome, or a lady is beautiful, up to what time? Till old age sets in. Initially you can manage by using hair dye and having denture and all that. But the hair dye that you are using today will make it black, but after some time 5 different colors will be there. So it has also got a limitation. Suppose I am master in Shastras, what is my fear? Somebody more learned will come and argue with me. Shastre vadi bayam. Suppose I am physically strong, somebody will challenge me. Bale ripu bayam. Then Bhartrihari thought there is no point in going on describing. I will conclude with this. All these are dependent on your body. The body itself is in danger because we don't know when that fellow will come. That's why our people say kalakshepo na kartavyaha. You should not waste your time because pratyayandi gadaha puranna divasaha. So what you should do, yamasya karuna nasti, then kartavyam harikirtanam. That's all. If you want to get out of the circle, do nothing in the Kali Yuga other than kalau kalmasachittanam papadrivyo bajivinam vidhi kriya vihinanam gadihi govinda kirtanam. Very simple method for us. Unlike the other people in the other yugas, they have to struggle. We need not struggle. We do only Hare Rama, what your Kali Santarana Upanishad says. So like that, the difference between the body and the soul is a central message, and how to get over that is by going and falling at the feet of people who are realized people, the right gurus, and getting into satsanga. So that over a period we will be able to completely remove all these mental blocks and mental dirt that is accumulated over various births, and we concentrate and concentrate our mind on the matter that is essential and the essence of life. With that, I will close with one prayer which Narayana Bhattacharya says in the Narayaniya, addressing the Lord, the last chapter. It's a very favorite. All slokas in Narayaniya are favorite. You can't take one and say this is wonderful, because you take a piece of jaggery and make small globules out of that. Which is more sweeter? What answer is there? Nahi gula guligayaha kwapi madhuriya bedaha. You have taken one ball of sugar, jaggery, and make it into small globules. Which is more sweet? You can't say this is sweeter. In any case, sometimes certain things appeal more to you. That's why I make this sloga. Not that others are in any way one bit less important or less spiritually sweet. Very wonderful sloga, which of course in Kerala I need not say, because Narayanam is our handbook in Kerala, unlike other states. We are fortunate in that we had Shankara here and we had Bhattacharya here. What else do you want? Handa Bhagyam Jananam is not only for Guruvayur, it is for entire Kerala, because that is our Bhagya here. And in one sloka I will conclude my presentation. Hridyam Purnanukambarnava Murdulahari Chanchalad Bruvilasaihi Anila Snigdha Pakshma Valibarilasitam Netra Yugmam Vibhote Sandrachayam Vishararuna Kamaladalakaram Amugdadaram Karunya Lokalila Shishirida Bhuvanam Kshipyatam Mai Anathe. Beautiful sloka, where when Bhattacharya rendered this, it appears Guru Ayurappan was not very pleased with that. He came out suddenly in all hurry and said, Bhattacharya, how dare you say this? Because Kshipyadam mai anathe. How do you say you are anatha? Agre pashyami tejaha. You have crystallized me in your mind, and you can never be anatha. You are sanatha. Do not use that. Then Bhattacharya said, Gurayurappa, for all people who ever say this, you should do that. And with that I conclude. Thank you for your patience. Gurubhyo Namaha.